Today, you're going to learn about the geography of South Carolina, and it can be broken down into three regions. We're also going to learn a little bit about the people and the culture of South Carolina. The three regions are the Low Country, which is along the coastal region, the Midlands and Sandhills, which are kind of in the middle of the state, and then you have the Upstate and the Foothills, which are towards the western part of the state. The indigenous populations were the Cherokee, the Catawba, and the Yamasee. And these three major tribe groups also followed the regions of South Carolina. You had the Cherokee in the upstate, you had the Catawba in the Midlands, and also parts of the upstate, and then the Yamasee were in the low country and coastal region. All right, so the first region we look at is the low country. This is where the oldest non-indigenous settlements of South Carolina are located, and really the oldest settlements in the United States. Charleston is one of the major cities here, and that also used to be the capital of South Carolina. And so, like I said, the first colonial settlements are found here, and they were English colonists that actually were from Barbados who settled the region, and they brought with them the Caribbean colonial culture as well as the plantation economy that was based on the labor of enslaved human beings that grew cash crops. One of the cash crops was rice, and rice cultivation transformed the region geographically speaking. The swamps were turned into rice fields, and you can see this today when looking at satellite imagery of the coastal region of South Carolina. This image here is a satellite map of the Georgetown area of South Carolina. Next up, we have the Midlands and Sandhills region of South Carolina, and it is a coastal plain that kind of transitions into the Sandhills. It used to be where the coastline was many years ago, like talking millions of years ago. It's really a transition zone from the coastal region to the upstate, and it is part of what was considered the backcountry during the colonial era as well as the upcountry. So the Midlands and the upcountry are both part of the backcountry. Today, this Midlands region is a big agricultural producer. Crops grown anywhere from corn, okra, and watermelon. Those are all very popular. And watermelon is actually one of the top crops produced each year in South Carolina. Next up, you got the upcountry and the foothills region. The foothills region features foothills, as the name implies, and these kind of transition into the Blue Ridge Mountain Range, which is part of the Appalachian Mountain Range. The Blue Ridge Mountains form the border between North and South Carolina in this region, and the highest peaks can be found here, and popular hiking trails include Table Rock Mountain. One way you can know if you're in the upstate of South Carolina is when you see free-flowing rivers. So those rivers are very free-flowing, can move. There's a lot of waterfalls. As you move to the low country, the rivers tend to move slower and kind of broaden, get wider. Next, we're going to move into some of the people and culture of South Carolina. It's a very racially diverse place. You have a large African American and Hispanic population, and all these groups have made major cultural contributions to the state. So the gullah geechee culture, these are descendants of African slaves that lived on isolated sea islands of the Low Country, and they were able to maintain their culture and language and traditions from their African homeland. Some popular food items in South Carolina include barbecue and pulled pork sandwiches with sauce that varies depending on the region that you're in. South Carolina is known for its mustard-based sauce, but in the upstate you can find tomato-based sauces, and along the northern border you'll find some vinegar-based sauces as well. Manufacturing is big, primarily in the upstate region, with BMW bringing auto manufacturing to the state of South Carolina. There's also a large number of military bases, with military families making up a substantial part of the population of South Carolina. All right, so hopefully you learned something about the three regions and the culture of South Carolina.